Chapter 6, Part 3. The Moment. Friends at camp warn Enrique against crossing the Rio Grande by himself. It's a treacherous trek from the moment you step into the river. There are whirlpools below the water, ready to take you under, and Border Patrol helicopters skimming above the water, whipping up high waves that toss you around. His campmates tell Enrique he needs a guide, someone who knows the route ahead. And when you make it across the river into the United States, they warn, walking across Texas alone is out of the question. Without a guide, it is easy to get lost and wander in circles in the sameness of the brushlands. The trek to San Antonio takes 7 or 8 days in desert heat of up to 120 degrees, with rattlesnakes, cactus needles that cut you, saucer-sized tarantulas, and wild hogs with tusks. Some migrants, dehydrated and delirious, commit suicide. Some are shot by Texas ranchers as they try to beg or steal food or drink. Ranchers have become increasingly riled by immigrants who trespass. Some ranchers sit on their front porches with pistols in their laps. Most immigrants are good, they say, but the bad ones pack drugs, break into your place, and steal things. On the Texas side of the river, the Border Patrol agents are skilled and dogged. In 2000 alone, the year Enrique was trying to enter the United States, 108,973 migrants were caught near Laredo. As Enrique prepares to make his attempt, the Border Patrol has been on a hiring frenzy. In all, the government has hired more than 5,600 additional agents since 1993 to expand its forces along the southern U.S. border. Agents are equipped with helicopters, night vision goggles, thermal imaging that picks up body heat, and sensors that detect footsteps along immigrant trails. They move the sensors constantly so smugglers and migrants don't know where they are buried. At supper at the San Jose church, Enrique meets men who have been deported by border agents. One man who snuck through the desert alone hasn't eaten in 5 days. When he arrives at the church, his brown shirt, torn to shreds by cactus, hangs in pieces on his body. His arms are cut up and bleeding, pricked with thistles and thorns. He is caked with mud. The bottom of both feet are covered by huge yellow blisters, and his toenails have turned black. He had to kill 5 rattlesnakes as he walked. He begs for a glass of water and a shower. Everything Enrique hears makes him terrified of snakes and scorpions. In the Texas desert, snakes come out to haunt him at night, when it is cooler. That is when migrants are on the move. They fumble forward in the dark, afraid to use a flashlight. Some rely instead on superstitions. Take a pregnant woman with you, and the snakes will sleep as you pass by. Put 3 peppercorns under your tongue for good luck. There are copperhead snakes, coral snakes, cottonmouth snakes, and the blue indigo snake, so long and fast it can kill a rattlesnake. There is a bumper crop this year, and the drought has made them more aggressive. Many times, when Enrique falls asleep, he has the same nightmare. A snake has bitten him in the mouth. He cannot call out for help. El Hongo listens to his friends. He decides against going alone. Why should I die doing this? He asks himself. Enrique knows he cannot trust just any smuggler. Back home in Honduras, most smugglers are honest. They must uphold their reputations if they want business. Here along the border, smugglers can rob, rape, or abandon their clients without any consequences. Many migrants at the church return with horror stories about smugglers. Enrique has seen El Tirindoro take a number of migrants across the river, always at night, usually 1 or 2 at a time, paddling furiously in their inner tubes. El Tirindoro does not work alone. He is part of a network with other smugglers. He has partnered on the other side of the river. He has partners on the other side of the river, people who hide migrants if Border Patrol agents are in pursuit. A middle-aged man and a young woman, both Latinos, drive El Tirindoro and his clients north, helping them maneuver around Border Patrol checkpoints in Texas. After the last checkpoint, El Tirindoro returns to Nuevo Laredo, and the couple and others in the network deliver the clients to their destinations. When El Tirindoro takes migrants over, Enrique notices they are never caught and sent back. El Tirindoro has studied the movements of the Border Patrol so long, says Enrique's friend, that he knows what each agent does every 8 hours during the shift change. But he charges $1,200. Enrique makes a decision. When he can afford to call his mother, he will ask her to hire El Tirindoro as a smuggler. I know, he says to himself, that he won't strand me. On May 18th, Enrique awakens to find that someone has stolen his right shoe. Shoes are almost as important as food and his mother's telephone number. He can think of every pair he has helped that has helped him come north. On this trip alone, there were 7 blue shoes, white shoes, leather work boots, Nike sneakers. He has bought, borrowed, or traded for them. All have fallen apart or been stolen, but never only one. He spots a sneaker floating near the riverbank. He snags it. It is for a left foot. Now he has 2 left shoes. Bucket in hand, he hobbles back to the taco stand, begging along the way. People give him a peso or two. He washes a few cars, and it starts to rain. Astonishingly, he has put together 20 pesos in all. Enrique feels joy and anxiety as he walks back to the camp in his 2 left shoes. He now has enough to pay for a phone card. Padre Leo's help. It is May 19th. There is only one way Enrique's plan will work. Padre Leo at the San Jose church lets migrants phone from the church if they have cards. Each day, he serves as their telephone assistant and alerts them if they have received a call. Enrique will have to trust the priest to find him if his aunt and uncle call back. In late afternoon, Enrique reaches his old boss on the church telephone. He tells him to ask his aunt and uncle to call the San Jose church. 2 hours later, Padre Leo bellows Enrique's name. As always, word spreads through the courtyard like wildfire. Someone named Enrique has a phone call. "Are you all right?" asks Uncle Carlos. "Yes, I'm okay," Enrique says hurriedly. "I want to call my mom. I've lost her phone number." Uncle Carlos reads it digit by digit into the phone. Carefully, Enrique writes them down, one after another, 10 digits on a shred of paper. Just as Uncle Carlos finishes, the phone dies. Uncle Carlos calls back, but Enrique is already out the church door. He cannot wait. When he talks to his mom, he wants to be alone. He might cry. He runs to an out-of-the-way payphone to call her, collect. He is nervous. Maybe she and her housemates have blocked the telephone to collect calls. Or what if she refuses to pay? First of all, it is expensive. Second of all, she told him, harshly, not to come north, but he disobeyed her. Each of the few times they talked, she urged him to study. This, after all, was why she left, to send money for school. But he has dropped out of school. Maybe she is angry at him. Maybe she doesn't even want to talk to him. Heart in his throat, he heads to the small park not far from his camp. It is 7 p.m., a dangerous time for him to be away from the camp. Police patrol the park. If they saw him, he would be sure to catch their attention. He has 2 left shoes and jeans that are worn and torn. He looks too tattered to be in this neighborhood. He pulls the shred of paper from his pant pocket. He lifts the receiver of a payphone at the edge of the park. Slowly, carefully, he unfolds his prized possession, her phone number. He listens in wonderment as his mother answers. She accepts the charges. "Mommy?" At the other end, Lourdes's hand begins to tremble, then her arms and knees. "Hola, mijo. Hello, my son. Where are you?" "I'm in Nuevo Laredo. ¿A dónde estás? Where are you?" "I was so worried." Her voice breaks, but she forces herself not to cry. She wants to stay strong for him. She doesn't want him to break down too. "North Carolina." She explains where that is. Enrique's nerves ease. "How are you coming?" "Get a coyote," she insists. She sounds worried. She says she knows of a good smuggler in Piedras Negras. "No, no," he says. "I have someone here." Enrique trusts El Chirindero, but he costs $1,200. She will get the money together, she promises. "Be careful," she says. Despite the bond between them, the conversation is awkward. He and his mother are strangers, but he can feel her love. He places the receiver in its cradle and sighs. At the other end, Lourdes finally cries.